Hi guys, it's Hector from the 𝗵𝗲 Kettlebell Club. Just going to share with you a few techniques on how to regain your squat, or possibly even work on your squat if this is something you're doing as a mobility exercise or as a superset in between your squat training. I'm just going to cover a few things on the way we teach all of our students here at 𝗵𝗲, how to squat, how to regain your squat, things of that nature, okay? So if it's their first time getting into a program, or if they just joined with us, we're going to teach them how to squat from day one, okay? And so basically what we're going to do is we're going to go all the way back to childhood, okay? So as an infant, as we're learning how to strengthen our neck and our head by head control, okay? We learn how to eventually rock back, okay? And then from there, we eventually learn from rocking back, we learn how to create that X, okay, in a reciprocal motion, and we learn how to crawl. And eventually, as we learn how to crawl, we crawl our way towards a table or a chair, and then from there, with the strength that we've been developing, we pull ourselves up, okay? So essentially, the first squat that we ever did was from the bottom up, not from the top down, okay? And we see a lot of individuals trying to work on their squat, or they're already loading their squat when they're actually missing the squat. They're missing the pattern of squatting, okay? And that can result in valgus collapse here when the knees start to come in, and which can create knee pain. Maybe they're lacking reflexive stability. They're missing strength in the upper back to be able to maintain a tall position and a big chest. So if they're lacking that reflexive stability, as they start to descend, whether they're using a barbell or a kettlebell or even a dumbbell, as they start squatting, because they're missing that pattern, they'll start shifting their way forward this way, because if they don't, they're going to fall back, okay, because they're lacking that squat pattern. So as soon as they start shifting this way here, a lot of the load starts going to the lower back, and problems can start to happen at that point. So what we're going to do is we're going to show you guys the way we teach all of our students here at 𝗵𝗲 on how to develop your squat, okay? If you already have a great squat, this is a great mobility and stability drill to do. A series in between sets, or even an off day just as a recovery day, this is a great thing to do. So maintaining that squat for the rest of our lives is very essential for a long period, for health down the road, okay? So one of the first things that we do after we take all of our clients through their FMS screen and everything's good and we just want to start working on the squat, we put them in a quadrupedal position, in a primitive position, and we teach them how to rock back and forth, okay? So we put them on all fours, we dorsiflex and tucks the toes underneath, okay? And we're looking to open up the hips, okay? Actively using the hands to push back. We want to make sure that they keep their chest up, and you want to make sure that you keep your eyes straight ahead, okay? You don't want to be rocking like this, okay? So if we start to look down and put our head down, the rest of our body will naturally follow that, and you can see how I start to round here in my back as I do so. Now, also, if your hips are tight, and we start to rock back here, and then your pelvis starts to tuck under, that's where you need to stop, okay? Because we don't want to start tucking under here and gaining more range of motion by giving up our lower back, okay? So a great thing you can do is you can use a foam roller or a half-drink water bottle or even a towel roll. You can place it on the lumbar or the back. And as you start to rock back, as soon as that roll starts to roll off your back, that's where you need to stop, okay? But if you don't have that issue, you're going to work on pushing back, okay? And essentially rocking back and forth, okay? So if you look at this pattern, what I'm developing, what I'm building here is I'm strengthening the hips, I'm strengthening glute medius, things of that nature here. So this is going to help me to build my squat pattern, okay, or how to regain it, okay? One of my mentors, 𝗵𝗲𝘁𝗁𝗂𝗃, one of the developers of FMS, said that is strengthening the glute medius on using bands or whatever that nature, strengthening the glute medius, is that really going to help regain your squat? Or is regaining your squat going to help you regain your squat? I think the latter is true, okay? So in this position, we're building this pattern. So if I were to take this bottom position of the rock and I were to plop you up onto your feet, it would be essentially a squat pattern. So we're teaching you how to squat without putting any kind of load on the knees, on the lower back, okay? So here, once we build up repetitions here, we'll add in some neck nods, okay? So I have the individual look up as they inhale, and then exhale to chin to chest. So this is building that upper back strength and reflexive stability, okay, by stimulating the vestibular system, okay? We have them do a few neck nods, and then we have them begin to baby crawl, okay? Baby crawl back and forth, okay? So we're developing all of those primitive movements, eventually leading them to their squat, okay? So we'll do several sets of that, rocking back and forth. We'll do some neck nods. We'll traverse the floor by crawling forward and crawling back, building that reflexive stability, okay? Then after we do a few sets of that, we're going to take them into their goblet squat, and we're going to teach them, reteach them their first squat that they ever did as a child, okay? I'm going to crawl myself to the kettlebell. So for instance, I'll be here. I'm going to rock about 10 rocks back and forth, okay? I'll do a few neck nods, up and down, chin to chest. Inhale, chin up, exhale, chin to chest. And then we're going to crawl towards our kettlebell, okay? I'm going to lay the kettlebell down. I'm going to inspect it just as if I was a child and I were inspecting some object on the ground, and I'm going to learn how to pick it up, okay? So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to set my feet. 1, 2, okay? I'm using my hands for support, okay? I'm going to grab the kettlebell by the horns, and I'm going to curl the bell to my chest. My elbows are going to be on the tips of my knees, the meaty part of my knees, and I'm going to use those elbows to push my hips out, okay? Push my knees out. So this is going to help me pry at my hips, okay, side to side, and if you notice, I'm able to maintain a very tall chest here, okay? I'm not, at no point am I collapsing in, or my elbows coming in this way. That's no good. So we want to keep the elbows on the tip of the knees. We're going to pry back and forth, and focus on breathing, okay? Imagine someone's pulling you up from the crown of your head and you're getting taller, okay? And then from there, we don't stand up, okay? So what we do is we put the bell back down, back to hands and knees, we reverse crawl, and that would be one set. So we go through that multiple times, building up that squat, building up the crawl, building up the rocking and the neck nodding to build the upper back, to be able to maintain a tall chest. That way when we do go into kettlebell front squatting or barbell back squatting, they've built up lots of repetitions in that pattern, okay? So I'm going to do one more, turn to the side. So I'm going to do my rocking back and forth, okay? Keeping a big chest, looking straight ahead, rocking back and forth. I'll do a few neck nods. Then I'm going to baby crawl towards my bell. Baby crawl. Set the bell up, lay the bell down, and then I'm going to set my feet. Foot, foot. Grab the bell by the horns, pull the bell up into my knees, and I keep a tall chest. You can see how nice and straight my back is here. I'm not rounding in, okay? I'm keeping my elbows at the tip of my knees, and I'm pressing my hips out, my knees out. And I'm going to pry side to side. Another thing we like to add here as a bonus, and what we do is we actually add some neck nods from this position. We'll do a few neck rolls side to side. We'll look towards our back pocket. Pry to the side, put the bell down, hands and knees, and then we'll reverse crawl. And we'll do that for a few sets, or we'll do it as a superset in between squatting sets, or whatever it is that we may be doing during that particular session or program, okay? So give this a try, let me know what you think. Again, teaching either your students or yourself how to regain your squat from the very beginning, from the bottom up, is you're going to have so much more success because you're able to build the pelvic floor. You're able to build all the muscles around the hip and the trunk, and build the strength in the upper back to maintain a very tall posture as you're squatting, okay, which will give you a much healthier and long-term barbell lifting training and things of that nature. So give that a try. Again, it's rocking, neck nods, okay, and then you baby crawl to your bell. Bring the bell up to the goblet squat position. You work on prying at the hips. And then from there you can add in some neck nods. Those feel really good from the bottom of that squat position, okay? The kettlebell gives you a good counter. So if it is reflexive stability that you need to work on versus more mobility, you've got a good counterweight in the front so that way you won't fall backwards. So you're able to maintain that tall chest, okay, and you have a good counter, and you're able to still pry at the hips. And then if you feel comfortable, you're more than welcome to come out of the squat at that point, okay? But if you're still having some valgus collapse when you're coming up out of the squat, then that means that you still have some more work to do with the rocking, the hip prying, and the neck nods. Okay, that'll help build up that reflexive core stability. So once you get into that goblet squat position, okay, and you curl the bell to your chest, okay, if you're feeling really good here, you're not having any valgus collapse, you're able to come out of the squat. Okay, to the front. One more to the side. Okay guys, hope you enjoyed that. If you have any questions or any even suggestions or comments, please put them on the post